All right, let's talk about mindfulness. We hear that word all the time, right? But what does it actually feel like? Today, we're going to ditch the complicated definitions and look at this whole thing through three really simple, powerful visual metaphors. I promise this will change how you think about your own mind.
So first things first, I want you to picture your mind as a room. For a lot of us, if we're being honest, that room is, well, it's a total mess. You've got piles of to-do lists for tomorrow, some boxes of regret from last week, and this constant buzzing anxiety machine over in the corner. It's noisy, it's chaotic, and it is absolutely exhausting to live in there.
Now, here's the biggest myth about mindfulness, that the goal is to somehow empty this room, to make it a perfectly clean, silent, white space. But let's be real, you can't just stop your thoughts. That's like trying to stop your heart from beating. The real goal isn't to get rid of the clutter. It's to change your relationship to the clutter. It's about learning to just observe it. Okay, so how in the world do we do that? Well, this brings us to our very first metaphor, observing the traffic. See, normally our default mode is to be standing right in the middle of a 6-lane highway of our own thoughts. Just think about it for a second. A thought comes racing past, a worry about work, an old argument, what you're going to have for dinner. And what do? We react. We either chase after it, we try to jump in front of it to stop it, or, we just get completely run over by it. We're constantly being swept away by the sheer speed and momentum of our own minds. So, mindfulness? It's just the simple act of taking a deep breath and climbing up onto the grassy bank on the side of the road. Or maybe you're on an overpass looking down. And here's the key. From here, you just watch. The cars are still speeding by, but you're not in the middle of the chaos anymore. You're just a spectator. There's actually a technical term for this. It's called diffusion. It's just the act of separating yourself from your thoughts. And notice what's happening here. The traffic, all the worries, all the plans, it's all still there. It hasn't vanished. But your relationship to it, your position, has completely changed. You finally realize you are the observer, not the traffic itself.
Okay, so that's how we can start to handle our thoughts. But what about those big, overwhelming emotions? The ones that feel like they take over everything. For that, let's move on to our second metaphor, being the blue sky. So picture this. Your fundamental awareness, the deep core part of you that is always there, that's the vast open blue sky. And your emotions, they're just the weather. Some days are sunny and calm, and some days a huge thunderstorm of anger or a hurricane of sadness rolls in. It feels all-consuming, for sure. But here's the thing about this metaphor that's so brilliant. A storm cannot actually damage the sky. The sky holds the weather, but it isn't the weather. This one little mental trick is so incredibly powerful. It helps you shift from saying, I am sad, which feels like your entire identity, to saying, I am experiencing a cloud of sadness. That little bit of space you create implies it's temporary. It's just a cloud passing through, not who you fundamentally are. Okay, so we've got these two big ideas. Observe the traffic and be the sky. But when life gets choppy and the waves of distraction start crashing, how do we actually do it? We need a tool. We need to drop the anchor. Imagine your mind is a little boat out on the ocean, and the waves, those are the endless distractions, right? A notification on your phone, a noise from the kitchen, a random memory, they all pull you off course. Without an anchor, you just drift wherever the waves take you. Your breath is that anchor. It's a solid physical feeling that is always there, just waiting for you to bring your attention back to it. And the process is this really simple 3-step loop. You can do it anywhere, anytime. Step 1, just notice that your mind is wandered off. That moment of noticing is the moment of mindfulness. Step 2, briefly acknowledge where it went. No judgment, just a simple, okay, I was thinking about emails. And step 3, gently guide your attention right back to the feeling of your breath. That's it. That's the whole practice. Notice, acknowledge, return. You just do it over and over again. Now, this is the part where most people get tripped up. They try this, their mind wanders off 100 times, and they think, I'm terrible at this. But that brings us to our final and honestly, my favorite idea, the mental workout. This question is a total game changer. We've all been taught to think that when our mind wanders, we've failed at meditation. But what if the wandering isn't the problem? What if the distraction is actually the opportunity? This is the secret right here. The moment you realize you've drifted off and you consciously decide to bring your focus back to your anchor, That is the exercise. That's a single rep. It's like a bicep curl for your brain's attention muscle. So think about it this way. If you sit down to practice and your mind wanders 100 times and you gently bring it back 100 times, you haven't failed at mindfulness. Not at all. You've just successfully completed a 100-rep workout for your brain. You did it perfectly. And get this isn't just some nice-sounding idea. It's actual neuroscience. Every single one of those reps, every time you return your focus, you are physically strengthening the neural pathways in your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain that handles focus and awareness and emotional regulation. You are literally rebuilding your brain. And that brings us right back to where we started, that messy, cluttered room. See, the point was never to magically get rid of all the stuff. It's about building up the mental strength to be able to stand calmly in the middle of all that chaos, take a breath, and have the clarity to just pick up one thing at a time. So the next time your mind feels like it's spinning out of control, just remember these 3 images. Can you step out of the traffic for a minute? Can you remember you're the sky, not the storm? And can you find your anchor? Because in the end, mindfulness isn't about being perfect. It's about the simple, powerful practice of coming back again and again to right now.